Welcome to the Misfit One Lifestyles with Elizabeth Colin. She will awaken and connect with your Misfit One. Are you tired of the ups and downs in your life? Are you ready to live a healthy lifestyle once and for all? We are talking about all aspects of your life. Being fit is not just physical, it's also your mind and soul. Learn how to take steps in your life to move towards your goals. Elizabeth's goal is for everyone listening to the sound of her voice to get fit. Let's get focused, let's get intentional, and let's transform. Now here's your host, Elizabeth Colin.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Misfit One Lifestyles with your girl, Elizabeth Colin, also known as Misfit One. And today's guest is amazing. Listen, you know, Oprah always say it all the time. Follow your passion. It will lead you to your purpose. This woman, I personally know, has followed her passion and it led her to a purpose. Talisha Berry, you are a phenomenal woman. And I want to start off with that. How you doing, boo?
Oh my God. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am doing wonderful. Absolutely wonderful.
Good. I am so glad to have you here. For those of you who do not know this amazing woman, she is the woman who created a magazine, right? It's a magazine, Courageous Women. And you know that saying, strong women lift strong women. And we know her to do that. She is one of the women who has always backed you, supported you, and held you down. And her magazine is it in print or online only?
It's both available in print and online digital as well.
Tell us about your magazine. Tell us about Courageous Women.
Well, Courageous Woman, right now we are celebrating 10 years of publishing. So I can't even believe that we've actually been here this long. And I started off with Courageous Woman was a blog. And I was looking for motivation and inspiration for my own personal, I was going through some things and I love to read and those stories of other women accomplishing and building their businesses and achieving their dreams. They are inspirational to us. And so I couldn't find enough of those. Stories. So I began to ask other women, can I share their stories? And I just went online and found some amazing women and stories. And they allowed me to share their story. And that's when we were just a blog. And I was going through some things. I'm going through a divorce. And it was a part of my time in my life that I wanted to just restart, and I wanted to create or change the blog into a full magazine. I was the kid who wanted to work at Ebony and Jet.
Yes.
And I didn't get that chance, but I believed that it was still a dream of mine that I could make that happen. And I had a friend who had a thriving publication in Detroit. And I asked him, what do I need to take my magazine from blog to a print publication? He said, well, you're going to need at least $30,000. And I was in a restart of my life and I was starting all over. I moved from California back to Michigan, my hometown, and I didn't have $30,000. Okay. I looked at my account and I was missing some zeros.
Okay. I had three on it.
But I'm a believer, and I believe that if you have a dream and ambition and you are driven to accomplish it, nothing will stop you. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to take this $30.
Okay.
And I'm going to parlay it. And because I have a background in advertising and my education was in communications, I just parlayed everything I know. And I went out and raised the funds and sold advertising and talked to people in the community about Courageous Woman, and everybody was willing to support. And so we distributed our first print issue, 4,000 copies. We gave them away for free. And it's been a journey. A journey. So I'm excited to be celebrating 10 years, 100 women, the first 100 women on our cover.
That is so phenomenal, man, because you took something that you knew was missing, right? That's how it
Mm-hmm.
happens in this industry. Or shall I say this thing called life, right? We see
Mm-hmm.
something, and usually when we're searching for something, usually out of the search, we
Right.
find our purpose, and we
Mm-hmm.
find a way to parlay it that it can help so many people. Look at 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
10 years. You have published your own magazine.
Mm-hmm. I think that you appreciate things more when you have had to drive to accomplish it, and it seemed, to some people impossible, because some
Right,
people are like, you're not
right,
going to do that on that level.
right.
You're just a dreamer, girl. And I've been that my entire life. And I know when I want something, I just go after it. And I teach my kids that whatever you want, just go get it. We have this thing in my family: go big or go home. So
Okay.
whenever I get into something and I'm like, this seems so big, my kids bring it back to me. Mama, go big or go
Or go
home.
home. Okay. I love that. Now listen, what kind of content does the magazine have? Like, tell us a little bit about what you publish in the magazine.
We absolutely love motivational, inspiring stories of women who may have started with, a little bit of money and became a 6, 7 figure earner. Those stories are inspiring because all of us are trying to get somewhere and get, accomplish dreams and go, whether it's financial, whether it's relationships. And I try to find those stories that empower and inspire women.
Yeah, what's so great is, like I said, I've been knowing you, wow, a long time.
Yes, you was an inspiration.
Oh,
Absolutely. When I first met you, you had your gym. Girl had her whole gym. I was like, she is doing it over here. So you were the first person that I did a spin class with. So yes, I remember those days.
oh
Yes,
man, that's a long time, man. That's a long time. Yeah, yeah. We met at my studio in
yes,
California, and we have been, that's what I'm saying, supporting each other ever
absolutely.
since.
Yes,
Um I can remember actually the first spin class.
yes. You wore me out, but
It
I
was
appreciate
great. It was great. We
I
had an
appreciate it.
amazing
Yes.
time.
It was a lot of fun. I was so proud of you for, stepping out on faith and believing and just being a fitness instructor, all that you had,
Thank you.
experience in your life. And then girl had her own fitness gym. I was very proud of you. So,
Thank you, thank you, thank you. What's great about it is, Queens, we all fix each other crown, we
absolutely.
stay there and we hold each other down. And that's exactly what I inspire to do every day, right? This is why I do what I do. This is why I support you, and so many other women in their dream.
I don't think it's any fun when you don't have your sisters by you and we all doing well. You know what I mean? So when my sister, she down, she going through something, I'm there to uplift her, encourage her, and empower her. Come on, girl, let's go get it. So I
Let's
think
go
we
get
all
it.
need to be that way.
I agree. I agree. You got you said earlier that you are celebrating the first 100 women that
On the
was on the
cover.
cover.
Hmm.
Can you give us some of those people?
Oh my gosh.
Do you even
Okay.
remember way back then?
I remember the very first person for sure that I called. It was Stacey Lattisaw. She was an R&B singer, and she was one of my Facebook friends, and I was definitely a fan. And I just, went on her website, and there was a phone number. I called the number, she answered. So, and I still have that interview. She was so sweet of sharing her story. That was the very first story, and since then we've had some phenomenal women. Even last month we had a comedian Oscar winning winner, Monique. We've had Vanessa Bell Calloway. We've had Wendy
Wow.
Raquel Williams. We've had so many amazing women that inspired me, and inspired me to go and and talk to them and see if they would like to share their story. So we got a couple more that's coming up as we are inching towards our 100 women. And that are also phenomenal women, and one that inspired my entire brand. So she will be in that towards our 100. We're almost there.
I'm telling you, that's so impressive. It really is. It really, really is. And when I look at your career, my whole platform is about being fit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say fit, I always have to say, I mean, focus, intentional, and transforming.
Mm-hmm.
And Talisha, that's you. Once you became focused on what you wanted to do, you moved with intention. Like you said, you reached out to somebody who was already doing it and say, how can I do this? Right? What made you do that? What did you say? Hey, look, this is what I want. This is my dream. What was that moment like for you?
Like I said, I was in a place, I was transitioning out of a marriage, and I just had this energy that there was things that I hadn't accomplished in my life, and I wanted to get them done. I just wanted to get my dreams done. I'm still on a mission though,
Right.
to get those dreams done. But at that moment, I just, what? It's time to win. I had a winning spirit at that time, and it drove me. I was working. I had been an entrepreneur for many years, but when I had gone through that restart, everything had to restart. I went back to work. I was working in the medical field. And the funniest thing is that I called it was my superwoman days because, and I appreciate it so much to having to go back and restart. And I was working, and I would have to, working in the medical field, I had to wear scrubs. But during the day, I would talk about Courageous Woman. I go in the community and I have my corporate gear on, my suit, I'm dressed to a T.
Yes.
And one day, and then I was on call for, I was phlebotomist, so I was on call. So when they called me to go and take care of my patients, I would have to pull into a McDonald's and change my clothes from my corporate gear.
I love it.
To my scrubs. And I always say, I hope there's no cameras in here. If they are, they saw everything.
Yes.
So I would take off my heels, throw them in the back, and put on my scrub shoes, my nursing uniform, and go to work. And one day I went into the hospital, and at the nursing station, everybody's looking at me. I'm like, what are they looking at? I'm like, what's going on? And I walked into my patient's room, and I walked past the mirror, and I could see that I still had on my medallion, my jewelry from my suit with my scrubs. And it was so funny. I just took it off, put it in my pocket, and went and took care of my patient. But I knew that was part of my journey. You know what I mean? I didn't get mad because I had to go back and restart. It was a choice I made to restart, leave the marriage, and just go restart my life. And sometimes restart doesn't look that great. But if you press through and you believe, there's beauty and wonderful things on the other side. And that's what I tell women. When you got to restart, sometimes it's like a bow and arrow. You got to pull back to get a good running start. And one of my minister friends told me that, and I hold it dear to my heart, and I share that with women.
Wow. What's so crazy is that pullback. That was my logo for my
yes.
Yes. Yes. So you pull back in order to be launched forward.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That is phenomenal. When I say we have all had to have that restart, and that restart looks different for all of us. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, I don't know many women that hasn't had to have a restart. Mm-hmm. I don't know those women. I'm sure they're out there, but I don't know those women. The women I know, we had to get down and dirty. We've had to start over. And you know how they say you have to crawl before you walk. How many times have I crawled in my life?
Right.
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 Yeah. And what is another impressive thing about you is you are a mother of 3, right?
4.
4?
Yes, ma'am. 4, 3 daughters and a son.
That's right. I always forget about your little man, and he is a man. Like, and ain't not, and he is not little. I mean, you
Yes, he's
have
30.
4. That's right. Him and my daughter are the same age.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you have
Yeah.
4 adult children. Now, how
He's
is
the reason
that?
we're in California.
Yes. Yeah. Tell me, the reason you're in California is why?
Because he's an actor. We moved here when he was about 11 or 12, and he started with Nickelodeon, and he's done multiple movies, TV shows, and people may know him playing Jabari on the TV show Girlfriends.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's still acting. He's 30, got a couple of movies coming out now, so he's still doing this thing.
That's so cool. And I admire that so much, how you stepped out and did something not only for you and your family, like not for you, but in order to better him and his goals and let him chase his dreams. So like you said, go big or go home. You've been
Mm-hmm.
doing that. Not just saying it, you have actually been walking that walk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my kids, they see me as an example, so I gotta keep going. I still have ambitions and dreams, and my 2 of my daughters are film producers and directors. So, now I actually, before moving here, I kind of put my life on hold.
Mm-hmm.
I was producing stage productions, and that's kind of how my son got the bug, by being there, being around, that atmosphere. And so now the kids are all adults. They all doing their own thing. And they're like, okay, mom, it's time for you to go back and do what you were doing in your dream and ambitions. I'm talking about it all the time. I'm always writing. And so I was actually, during quarantine, I took the time I was actually writing a play. And my daughter said, mom, I don't think this is a play. After she read it, she said, no, this is a TV show. So now it is a web series that we are preparing to produce. So
Tell us all about it. Come through. What is it about? Talk to us.
Oh, it's an amazing, funny story, and my daughter has taken it and ran with it. So we're preparing to cast for it. It's about 4 women who actually their father was a 1960s R&B singer, and so they didn't know each other.
Okay. I like it.
They didn't know each other until his funeral. And the only thing he had left was a house, and he could not sell it. They could not sell it. They had to live in it. So they got a chance to know each other, and it's about women coming together. And so it has a strong message, and it's been a journey. This is something that I started writing probably 15 years ago, and so
Yes.
it's been a journey recreating it from a stage production to a web series. So we're now preparing to cast it. And so it's been this whole life has been a journey. So I am so looking forward. As a playwright, my ultimate dream was to see my work on film, and to see that I've been there on the set as a stage mom and watch my kids do movies and TV shows. And I know that the whole, thing about us moving from Michigan to California was about my whole family. So I sacrificed everything I was doing for my kid, who's, an adult now. So it's just a blessing to see it all come back, and we're working together now.
I love that. I really do. That is so awesome that a family that, have been through, like you said, the divorce, the restart, and all these things, but you guys stayed strong. You are the foundation. And from a strong foundation, you can build anything.
Absolutely.
And that's amazing. I am so looking forward to that web series, girlfriend.
Yes, we're gonna have to get you on it now, okay? We got the
Okay,
cast
I'm red tape. What you want?
So we a fitness expert. Yeah, it's been a blessing, and I always tell people, it wasn't an easy thing for kids to go through a divorce. I was married for 22 years, so it wasn't an easy thing for kids, even though they were older. My oldest three were older at the time. It still was very hard for them.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of praying. I'm a praying mama, so I had to do a lot of praying for my kids to help them get through it, and they've just been resilient and through all of it. So,
wow, that shows your strength, though. You see, you said it earlier. They watch you.
mm-hmm.
So, if you wasn't as strong and prayerful and stayed prayed up and kept your head up and kept going, they wouldn't be as resilient, right?
Yeah.
You're an example for them.
And you never know what your kids is watching, whether you're doing bad things or good things. They are watching. You. Yes, and my kids have said that to me. Even this past, I think it was Mother's Day, my daughter wrote something to me about just watching and seeing, through it all. I've had some times that weren't, the best times, and were hard and struggle for a single mom. I have experienced it all, but I know God, and I know that I had to get through it. I had to get up because I had 4 people that I was responsible for and that were watching me. So I had to be that mama to get up and look. My kids know me. We got to make this happen.
Right.
Period.
I that was something that we both related to because I was a single mom, and we both know that. Listen, my little family unit, my 3 kids and I, we are a team. Like we had to work as a team. And what's crazy is when my kids are all graduated from college and all adults and whatever. And what's crazy about it is, especially my youngest one, she don't get it when a family has a mother and a father and the kid don't know how to wash clothes, or the kid don't know how to do this, and she's like, what is going on? How can they not do it? I said, Allie, you have to realize that that's a good thing. Sometimes they get to have a family unit, a mom and a dad that could share the responsibilities. We didn't have that. So you guys had to wash clothes. You had to do the dishes. You had to cook dinner. They grew up really fast because that was how it had to be, right? It wasn't don't worry, mommy or daddy will get it. It's like, nah. No, we are unit.
Right.
We gain together or we fall together, but we're gonna do it all together. And when I look at you and all the things that got you through, we know prayer is big for me, you, and so many others. How do you start your day? How do you start your mornings? What does that look like?
Just I survived COVID. That is one thing that it really made me think about a lot. I had almost my life flash before my eyes. And so I really thought about my relationships and my connections, and knew that I had to continue that life of being a strong person and praying a lot. So I got into doing that, making sure that I do that every morning. When I start my day, but now I'm back to working out. I got to get up and get that exercise in, and that helps my mind. And if it's warm enough outside, I'm going outside. I'm people be outside when it's cold. I can't do cold. I don't care where I am. So it's been nice. I got to get out and get my sunshine, and my day of just preparing me spiritually, making sure my mind is focused so that I could handle my day-to-day tasks. So I have to have a regimen of just working on me first.
I like that. Self-care is so important. Listen, you run a magazine. People don't realize what a stressful job that is. I'm just a journalist, and I'm like freaked out. Like a lot of my deadlines, I have this, I have that. But to publish an entire magazine is work. It's stressful, and it's a lot of hours. So how do you manage all that? And I love that self-care. What does your self-care look like?
You know what? I am not the best
Oh,
at managing all of it because I'm a workaholic.
yes.
And sometimes I'm working all day and I have to catch one of the kids leaving out the door. Can you bring me some food? You know what I mean? So sometimes it gets like that because it's a lot.
Right.
And my goal is to make sure that we're on point with sharing these women's stories. And I have a team, but I still have to work a
Right.
lot. And
Yes.
not only are we doing books, I mean a magazine, we have two other publications. We have Courageous Men and we have authors who launch. So I've added and we produce books. So
I
we've
saw
had
that.
several best-selling books and have helped over 160 women in our anthologies and other books. So we got a whole engine over here.
I saw that. Yes, I was going to get to the Courageous Men. That is awesome. I mean, to step out on faith is one thing, right? When I look at you, I think of this old saying is when you get to the top of the mountain, what you do then? I always say party at the peak and then keep climbing, right? We gonna find a
Right.
bigger and a higher mountain, and that's what you do. Every time I see you, you like, listen, I was able to do this. Now I'm gonna do this.
Mm-hmm.
That's just such a admiring trait. I look at you and I go, get it, go get it, go get it, go get it.
I'm just getting my dreams done. I was that kid I was a dreamer and I, had a lot of ambition and dreams and things that I wanted to do. And I just feel like, hey, I'm still living. I can make it happen. And during, the time I was dealing with COVID, I had a lot of talks with God,
Yeah.
and it's like, you know what? Get it done.
I want to go back to that because you said that, I heard you when you said that you got over COVID. Does that mean you had COVID? Did you catch?
Yes, I had the virus, and it was an experience. Probably the worst one I have ever had, and it is mind boggling for me, and just grateful to be alive. I went through a lot during that time, and actually, it was in January, and I'm just starting to feel, back to myself now. It took that much time. I'm what you call a long hauler. So it's
Wow.
been some residual issues and things that I've had to deal with. And I lost a lot of friends and family members to COVID. So it was a very scary time for me, for my kids, my oldest daughter. It was both of us. We both had COVID-19. And so she was a little better than me. So she had to take care of me through it. But it was just she and I in the house and for a while. And nobody else contracted in my family. But I'm just grateful to be
Well,
alive.
we're grateful that you survived. Yes, because if you don't mind me asking, did you have the symptoms? Like I know some people who got it. I think two people that I know personally besides you now who a couple of them who had it, but the two did not have any at all symptoms, did not know they even had it. They just had to test for their job.
Mm-hmm.
And then they came back and they like, what? But they was like, I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm lifting, I'm this, I'm that. And they did not even, not a fever, not a runny nose, not a nothing. How did you experience it, if you do not mind sharing it? Because it's such a scary, scary thing.
Well, I wasn't one of those who didn't have any symptoms, and I hear about those people all the time. But I wasn't. I definitely had For me, it was mostly a lot of coughing and chest congestion. Even recently, I'm still having shortness of breath, and my lungs were restricted. So it was very hard to breathe for probably the first month.
Wow.
So I was pretty sick for a couple of weeks. And so, yeah, I actually, when I found out I had it was a friend of mine. I wouldn't let anybody in my house, but a friend of mine had dropped something off to my house, and I think we both had on masks, but for some reason they had it and I got it.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Well, I'm
It was,
glad that you survived, because that's what they say. It's so highly contagious. Like, we
yeah.
literally did not play with it when they locked down. We locked down. Like, I think last weekend was the first weekend we actually ate in a restaurant. Like, we actually went out and ate in a restaurant.
Oh,
And we flew, but now we're fully, vaccinated.
vaccinated. Mm-hmm.
So we're good. But
Mm-hmm.
we did not play with it in no way at all, because it was like killing people. And I am so happy that you survived. Another thing that we can look up to you to. You're such a strong fighter. And I want to point out, when we say strong, um, and I don't like when they always say black women, she's so strong, black women, she's so strong, because when I say strong does not mean that we do not have times that we are weak.
Mm-hmm.
I use the word strong as in we always get up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. But I think we always, I hear that all the time. Black women so strong. And I think as in our culture, we have been very strong, all that we have endured for generations. And we've watched our mothers and our grandmothers go through things, but they still got up and they kept going. So I think that part has been passed on to us. But having weak moments, absolutely. But I think that is what makes us stronger, is that
Yes.
we have those moments. We're real people and we have those moments, but most of us have been able to just be resilient through all of that and just keep going. Keep going.
Now let me ask you this, since we're talking about resilience, do you have any tips that you can share with the people, about keep going, about bouncing back, about being a woman who, you said it a lot of times, follow your dreams, because a lot of times people are called dreamers and they just dream.
Mm-hmm.
But dreams with action
Mm-hmm.
is what I see from you. So can you give us some tips on how we can live our dreams?
I would say just really believe, if you can envision yourself, having that a visual of yourself, you know what I mean? That's really, really important. You got to see yourself where you want to be and believe it and go after whatever it takes, whatever plan, a strategy that you must create a strategy, write it down, make it happen, create a storyboard or, and just make it happen. Everything is possible. And that's one thing I tell people. If you can dream it, it is possible, but you got to put the work in. You got to put the metal to the pedal and keep going. That's what my grandmother used to say. Put the metal to the pedal.
Right.
Put your money where your mouth is.
Right.
Go
right,
for it. If you can dream it, it is possible. And for me, it's always been staying spiritual. Having that prayer life for real. Just even if it's a 20-second prayer, just make sure that you're having that communication, because that
right.
is what keeps me, as a person, keeps me strong, to be able to go forward, is having that spiritual guidance, believing in, a higher power, that somebody's guiding me. Somebody got my back. You know what I
Right.
mean? I know my kids got my back, my family's got my back, but there's someone else that's uplifting me and keeping me going. You know what I mean? It's the spiritual. It's my ancestors. People are uplifting me and keeping me going. So I hold that. You know what I mean? So I
I
tell
love
people
that.
that all the time. Stay connected to that higher power.
Listen, that is so necessary in life. For me, for a lot of people that I know and don't know, but it is so important to stay prayed up, right? They say push, pray until something happens. Remember that? Remember that used to
Mm-hmm.
be a big old thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we got to stay ready, and mindful
Mm-hmm.
of what we do. Um, but speaking of what we do, if you were not a publisher, what other career would you do?
You know what? It would still be in the arts because I've had other careers, but something about the arts that has just keeps me there. Ever since I was a little girl, I've always wanted to be an actress. I was the girl in the mirror with my brush microphone singing. One of the Supremes. That's always been me. You know what I mean? I think a lot of girls say that that's been, but it's really, really was embedded in me. And
Right.
even I tell people I was a 5-year-old comedian because even at church, my grandmother was a writer. She would write my speeches for the holidays. And her sister, they would get a kick out of writing comedy for me. It had nothing to do with Easter or Christmas, but I was standing up there reciting something that my grandmother was, we called her Joe Jackson. So she would have me in the living room with the piece that she had written, and I would stand there, and the congregation would be just floored that I was a 5-year-old that could remember my lines. So
I
it was just
love it.
something that I always wanted to do, perform and acting. I had opportunities. I've traveled all over the country performing. And so it's just still just been in me. So I would be an actress. So
Okay. Okay,
I
so
would still
so
be
when
an
you say
actress.
you was the Supremes, who you was gonna be? You had to be Mary Wilson because I was Diana, baby.
Well, actually, I've played both in
Yeah.
productions. So I like Diana roles better, but
Yeah,
definitely
that is so awesome.
love them.
You are such a courageous woman. And I am just so honored that you have taken this time to come out and speak with us. How can we stay connected with you?
You can go to our website at courageouswomanmag.com. You can follow us there, and you'll get become a subscriber. If you put your email address in, you'll be automatically a subscriber, and that's free. You can reach me on Instagram at Courageous Woman Magazine. Facebook. I'm everywhere.
Yeah,
Teresa
and also,
Berry
how do
everywhere.
we get your magazines? How do we order the magazines?
You can go on our website at courageouswomanmag.com and subscribe. So whenever you see that the magazines are available, they're on sale, it all comes in your email. And for each issue, you'll be able to purchase it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. You're such a rock star. You
Oh, you
are.
are too, girl.
And you just make me smile, and I am, again, like I said, honored to have you on. Keep dreaming, my sister. And listen, for everybody else who is scared or have to start over, Talisha said it best. You're gonna be like an arrow, right? You gotta pull back, bring that bow and arrow, pull back so it can launch you forward. Do not be afraid to go after your dreams. Until next week, you guys, stay fit.